Good morning. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Good morning, dear ones. I'm going to do a spiritual video this Friday. And I appreciate the comment. I guess I'm just going to call it Saint Matt, MLOP 1784. We'll talk about that and talk about the spiritual masters. You know, some people even think Kirpal Singh was not a true master. You have all these things like that out there. And you know what? I'm going to address that in another way. So when, people can quit judging any of these spiritual beings, because it just doesn't matter. And the importance why there's a time where one has to lose the concept of Master Chila, even if the Vaiguru or someone claims to be the ultimate of the all, like Jesus, and some of these other yoga masters and stuff, because there's a lot of people that claim that even the Namilok, then they got the Sugmad, and then there's many people that claim there's many Sugmad. But the importance of you in this mix, and who you are, and keeping yourself away from being the Chila forever. But I want to address this important thing, and I appreciate your comments, because I love you, man. Anybody that deals with these higher levels, I don't care. There's no conflict here with me, with anybody. It is what it is. But some observations I've made in my journeys, and the ability of one that reaches these high levels of consciousness to maintain that, even for any Vaiguru or one who thinks they might be difficult for the vibrations. This is why the material bodies wrap around us, the soul, to protect us in these worlds. And I don't want to go there, but I'll get into that Friday for you, and we'll talk about that. Very aware of your path, and very aware of most paths. I've studied extensively in the spiritual field as well as the health field. And when you're a hermit out in the woods, there's nothing you can do but study, basically. And then you start going within, then you start traveling, and then you start asking, who's the traveler? Listen, a comment on the reptilians and stuff. Anybody, don't get freaked out with some of these things. I'm just, there's a lot out there. There's a lot going on all levels. And I do this to develop some protection in you guys for the future, because there's a lot of things coming down, and people on this planet are going to have to be aware of things they kind of put to the back. And so new things are coming. There's some exposures of some things coming that I think you're going to see in 2012. I think it's going to help waken a lot of people to the vastness of creation, even the physical world, which is the least vast of them all. So anyway, let's get back to this health thing, because those that, if you, on my spiritual insights, which I like to call them spiritual insights, I have a lot of them on my website, just, daily things, but I like to call this whole thing spiritual insights because of the journey we're on. Don't let that interfere with your health side of this. They're supposed to be one. But for some, some people are stuck in their belief systems, and that's okay with me. I don't care. So for those that might get freaked out with some of the spirituality and some of the things we talk about there, leave that to the side and keep going down this health side. Those that like to dig into that, we can have some fun, because there's so much out there. Now, he kind of took this off a little differently, so the water full of love. Listen, my friend, I agree with you with that. However, I will say with the veggies, vegetarians, if you will, beans and nuts. I mean, there's your proteins. Proteins come. Grains and sugars, really, the grains, when we devitalized them, of course, then you saw a lot more bowel problems. And then, of course, the over mucus production of any concentrated food, and that goes along with proteins. The gluten part of grains and stuff. Whole grains, better. In looking in that way, still acidic. But when you really look at the damage and the to the kidneys, it's really down to the proteins, even if the beans and the excessive nuts. I've shown medical doctors this before who were in pain, and I took them out of pain, and then I gave them protein to show them they'll go right back into pain with protein. I did a medical doctor one time, ran a hospital in San Diego, and he just couldn't believe just a few nuts could cause his pain back when I got it out with fruit. It just was really woke him up to that because he had kidney deterioration here. But I agree with your point with the grains and the complex sugars. I think when we complexed everything, that's when we started having problems because our body's quite simple. And then we've talked about this before about the mono diets of vertebrates. Omnivores do tend to be a lot more omnivorish in terms of eating more, but your herbivores tend to have a very restricted diet, and so is your primates, actually. But again, I'd like to consider us a more advanced species yet. So it's a here or there, really. I mean, one can play with that all you want, but you know, the vegetarians of old did all the milks and just like you said, the grains and the things, but they also did a lot of beans and nuts, and they still do today. There's people traveling around talking about health and making a lot of dishes out of nuts. Well, you know, nuts are great foods, but they're very concentrated great foods, and one shouldn't have too many. And I could eat a handful of pignolia or pine nuts like it was no tomorrow, but I'd put on weight doing it. I put on a lot of weight eating nuts. And so really concentrated foods, you know. But I appreciate, keep coming with the comments, my friend. You're a good man. And I do love your comment. I need to shorten your name for you. I got to get a name for you, man. Full of love. Man full of love. That's what I'm going to call you. Man full of love. All right, man full of love. This melamine. Oh, you ever see that bodies exhibits from China? You know, and I mean, if you ever want to learn about the human body, these should be in every university around the world. They should be in high schools. Learn about your body. And what they did was take an acetate and strip the body's fluids out and then put a polymer in there and lock that tissue into place. And they cut the body and all the organs and glands. They chop the body every inch horizontally and vertically and every other way. But it helps people to see the human body and what it's made of. We had it up in Tampa for, a year or more. It was fun to go up and really look at that more extensively. But I'm sure this polymer was the melamine and formaldehyde mixture. If you mix formaldehyde and melamine together, you get a polymer out of that, a resin out of that, melamine resin. Now, plastics and everything else is made of that. When you heat, of course, the melamine resins or any resins, you're going to get the chemistry breaking down, just like you would in cookware. You use aluminum cookware, you're going to get aluminum poisoning, and the same thing with iron even. So, there's no reason to cook in the first place, but these metals, I think even stainless steel gives you copper or something. So, yeah, good take on melamine. People have to, and of course you've seen the specials from the melamines from China, and I forget all that talk, and baby bottles and everything else, and so it is becoming a very serious issue. 200 tons of soy chicken fat. I mean, it's amazing. It's just amazing what these governments are willing to do with the people. Let's see here. Oh, the one I was going to comment on here, too. And keep your comments going. I appreciate that, full of love. And Lion Man and Synthroid, all you guys are great. All you gals are great. You're all just wonderful beings, spiritual beings. And we all just work together here. Oh, someone talked about Lichen, Planus, a skin problem. And someone replied that they had it too, and It has been dubbed as an autoimmune problem. How many autoimmune problems do you think the medical doctors think about? Everything's an autoimmune problem. It's like, oh my God. I mean, this is the kind of idiocy that exists there. And someday when they wake up to that, they're going to feel interesting because this is idiotic stuff. What is your skin? What do you think what role does your skin play on you or wrapped around your physical body? I like to separate you from your physical body. It's your third kidney. So when you see expressions on the skin of any kind, especially pimples and rashes and welts and you name it, rosacea, eczema, psoriasis, what is this stuff? Where does this stuff come from? Inside. Well, what's inside of this mysterious cellular body wrapped in cells called skin? Nothing. Cells and two fluids. It's cells and two fluids. And so this is the thing. This is coming out. Yeah, you can have parasitic waste as well involved in this whole thing. No question about it. But the predominant waste of the body is cellular. And so, yeah, I mean, whatever you see on the skin, what isn't working, guys? Help me out here. What isn't working on this gentleman? So there's two of them here so far. You're right, the kidneys. So you really go after the kidneys. Clean up the colon. Always clean up the colon in this case, too. And you'll be well. Mysterious skin problems. Ooh, I could tell you a lot of stories about dermatologists that just would make you roll over and either laugh or cry, one of the two. Because, I mean, we got to get to the simplicity of this. It doesn't matter the extent of the expression. It can be very bad, you know, to the point of cancer, the breakdown of tissue, or it can be any level in between, a simple pimple. Doesn't matter. The skin, what is it? The same, yeah, and I'm glad you laugh with this, because maximum 74, I have to laugh at when you say an autoimmune. But good thing about the Synthroid here, and I've made this comment over and over here, and this is a 36-year-old female. Synthroid. You know, if you've been on a hormone or a steroid for a long time, it only makes sense that you would use a glandular to enhance the function of that gland. So a glandular is raw tissue. It is the cells of a bovine source of the same. And think of it more stem cell physics. You know, everybody's in the same room laughing. You know, that homeostatic energetics of life. But use that to enhance the cells, because it ultimately is the cells that produce the hormones and steroids and neurotransmitters. However, when you're looking at the endocrine glands, you have the pituitary to always consider here, because it controls everything. So if you have a thyroid, parathyroid problem, adrenal problem, especially an ovarian problem, a prostate, so you got to think that it could be also coming from this, the pituitary. So it's just to keep that in the back of your minds. And one day I'll go over the questionnaire with you, and I think that would be a good idea. I'll go over the questionnaire with you and show you, and you can copy this questionnaire, and we've tried to write the different systems under the different glands and different parts of your body. So people are filling out this questionnaire, they say, oh, I have low blood pressure. Oh, this is an adrenal gland problem. Because if I can get you aware of symptoms and where they come from, you'll be like a good mechanic that says, oh, that noise is the alternator. You know, I'm going to get you guys that good. And so I will get this questionnaire so we learn how to